My name is Joe Van Oakland. I'm the co-founder of Rome Energy, and I've been a serial entrepreneur most of my life. Never fit in the corporate machine that well, despite having tried for many years. So when I got into EV charging, it was with a very good friend of mine. I've known him since grade school, and we've had a few businesses together. All kind of weren't the right place and time. And so he called me a number of years back and said, "Hey, I sold a ton of these chargers. I need somebody to figure out how do we get them in the ground." So I jumped in head first, no construction background, no electrical background, and just said, let's figure out what this process is and how do we optimize for efficiency, right? So our first year, we did pretty well. That got us recruited to an ESCO out of Boston. We helped build out their EV charging team. And then that got us further recruited into my previous company, in which we ran national implementations for blue chip customers. And the more data we see coming in about session growth and some of the strong ROIs that we're seeing on stations that we've put in the ground, it just became very, very clear that there's an opportunity to continue growing the number of plugs that we operate. Prior to Monta, our driver support number rang through to mine and my partner's phone. I think for 9 months, we had an 800 number posted on every charger. And we were getting out of bed at 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning to help drivers who were having trouble with stations, right? So we've kind of offboarded that to Monta's internal driver support team. Prior to moving to Monta, migrating everything to Monta, we didn't have a good understanding of what our problems really were. We knew we had some weird behaviors. We knew we had some inconsistencies in driver experience, but we didn't have enough data to understand what those issues were. So when we moved everything to Monta, we very quickly became acutely aware of the pain points for the driver and the inconsistencies and the driver experience and leveraging the data that Monta makes available at our fingertips, all the way down to the raw OCPP messaging, gave us an incredible ability to not just diagnose and understand what the issues were, but also to hold the proper partners accountable in situations where it wasn't something that was within our control or that we could influence through configuration. And Monta gave us the ability to really slice that data really quickly, really easily in a standardized way and turn it into kind of a monthly days-long exercise into something we can do very quickly in just a few hours across the portfolio. Before we moved our first set of payment terminals to that cloud integration with Monta, we were really at our wits' end to the point where we ordered delete kits for all of our chargers. And we just said, well, scan the charge, and that NFC tap to pay on the QR sticker works so well. And there seems to be so much inconsistency from the payment terminals. We'll just pull them out. We'll put a plate in there and call it a day, right? When Monta said, "Hey, we can solve that for you," we've moved really cautiously towards that because we've heard it a few times and not seen it actually produce results yet. But the sites that we moved over, we're seeing really strong stability on. We're seeing plug share scores go up because people aren't complaining about the payment terminals, and then that doesn't even bring forward Monta's QR codes, kind of how easy they are to link. But again, lots of stability brought to the table by Monta by bringing those payment terminals on, by housing all the funds in the Monta wallet, right? I've mentioned kind of our model being unique in that we work with multiple site hosts and multiple capital partners. And so we're able to kind of segment each capital partner into their own team and each site host into their own team and control where does the money go when it comes in, right? And it goes to the capital partner who paid for that site. It goes into their wallet. They have the ability to log in and see how the site's performing, see how much money is in their wallet, and withdraw it at the time of their choosing. And so we don't have to do as much reporting or as much capital management. We don't have to touch anyone's cash. It just goes to where it's supposed to go. We get our piece of it, and our hands don't end up in the wrong cookie jar, if you will. You guys have a team of 400 there, and it's like Monta's like an extension of our team, we feel like, right? I've got a couple of folks over there who I probably drive a little bit crazy with pretty regular inquiries, but they're always very kind about it and always incredibly helpful. And they're my conduit to everything that is Monta, right? And like I said before, Casper's hopped on a call before because we were having an issue, and he was able to help drive that resolution. There's a few other folks in engineering there who aren't afraid to hop in. So yeah, I think being able to stay lean, Monta's a huge part of. I don't need a huge engineering team. I don't need DevOps and all of the pieces that come with building a software product. We just get to give feedback, talk about what our needs are, talk about the things that we don't have that we need. And we've seen some of those come out in product cycles already, right? Where we've gone, hey, Monta, this would be really helpful for us to better diagnose things, or, trying to understand. We have a site in Texas where we've been battling some demand charges. And so working with Monta to not just implement load limiting and demand limiting, but also to understand where that limit needs to be set, right? What are the peak demand events? When do they happen? What do they look like? And Monta's control dashboard really gives us that insight to be able to make informed decisions and manage operating costs in a really efficient way, while still, again, focusing on providing a really strong driver experience. It's a no-brainer, really. Again, we've used many of, or dare I say most of, the platforms we can come across, some of them for longer than others. And Monta is robust, it's easy to use, and we have a really clear understanding of what Monta's future holds, right? We can go online and see what does the product roadmap look like, where is it going, and what feature sets are coming. And that allows us to get creative in how we're thinking about kind of expanding and growing with Monta, as to see what's coming down the pipe at us as far as feature sets and capabilities, and think about how we can continue to optimize operational efficiency, leveraging those tools. We wouldn't be on the trajectory we're on right now, I don't think, if we wouldn't have made the migration to Monta. When you guys say our problem is your problem, we feel that, we believe it, and we know it to be true after working with you guys for 6 months here now. And so we're incredibly grateful and optimistic for the future.